All right, all right. Welcome on in to another action-packed and live edition of the Between the Hash Marks podcast. As always, I'm Matt Lombardo, joined by my friend, colleague, mentor, the purveyor of the Two Deep Zone, Mike Tanier is here. Michael, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, but let's be honest, full disclosure, how is the echo right now?
It is very loud. The echo is very annoying, but we went through so many roadblocks and stop signs and technical difficulties just to get up and running that I'm going to deal with the echo rattling around my head for as long as this podcast lasts.
Did you ever have to do this when you were on Philly radio, Atlantic City radio? Was there ever a technical difficulty where it sounded like your own voice was shooting back at you like this?
Well, the problem in Atlantic City was they built in an echo for some reason. I have no idea why. I think they thought that it made them feel like they were speaking to a stadium, that it was like this grandiose effect that there was an echo. But it does become a bit of a minor annoyance trying to do a podcast with an echo like this. But we're professionals, or we pretend to be professionals. So we're going to shoulder on and power through.
I love the idea that Atlantic City Sports Talk thought it was like a Journey concert. And they needed to add echo. Well, the lights go down. Like, no. We have to, it has to be clear. No one wants this.
No, but we're going to try to power through this. And as always, a little bit of housekeeping for you. If you enjoy the podcast, please go ahead and subscribe in the Apple Podcast Store. Leave us those 5-star ratings and reviews. Those reviews really do help grow the show. We read the 5-star reviews on the show every week. So if you want to rip us, be kind. We'll read those as well. But subscribe in the Apple Podcast Store. Check us out. We should be live right now on YouTube at Matt Lombardo 975. I think that we worked out that technical difficulty, the echo not so much. And most importantly, Mike and I both bailed on, left, and abandoned the Substack platform a couple of weeks ago. So please subscribe to the Two Deep Zone on Ghost. It's home to the premier storytelling across the NFL journalism industry. My good friend, my pal, Mike Tanier. You can check out betweenthehashmarks.com and subscribe there as well. Independent journalism. And Mike, we have a great special going on through the month of June. Why don't you fill our viewers and our listeners in on what they get as part of our annual Pride special?
Let me see if I can remember what our listeners and viewers get as part of the Pride special. Okay, so if you become a paid subscriber to one of our sites, whether it's Two Deep Zone or Between the Hash Marks, you get 6 months of the other site premium access for free. In addition to that, 20% of the proceeds go to the Trevor Project, which is a charity help LGBTQ youth who are dealing with suicide, mental health issues, etc., creating resources for them. So you get a donation from us on your behalf, 20% of the proceeds, and you get 6 months of the other person's newsletter for free. How'd I do?
You did great. So basically, subscribe to the Two Deep Zone. You get all of Mike Tanier's storytelling, the dad jokes, the analytics deep dives, all of those we went into the coverage. You get that. You get 6 months of Between the Hash Marks for free, basically through the trade deadline later this fall, maybe a little further than that, and 20% of the proceeds to the Trevor Project. And if you subscribe to Between the Hash Marks, you get my insider reporting, the analysis, and you get Mike's coverage for free for 6 months. So everybody wins, and we do some good together.
That's absolutely right. It runs through the month of June. And you're right, it'll get you past the NFL trade deadline, a little bit past that, maybe closer to Thanksgiving, depending on when you decide to sign up for us. And by that point, guaranteed, if you're getting the newsletters, you're getting the emails, information several times a week, right in your mailbox. You hit the paywall the first time, that means the deal's up. You'll probably want to subscribe to us anyway. Yep. Or you can wait and then do it for 6 months again the following year and keep making us donate to the Trevor Project. Not the best for us, but we respect that decision if you choose it. Anyway, you want to become a member, premium member, paid member, be part of this promotion. We love it.
And it's a guarantee. You get 6 months free of the other one, unlike the guarantee in the adventure that I went through this morning. Did anybody catch that on Blue Sky today?
You had a problem with your cell phone.
Yeah, I'm way overdue to upgrade the iPhone. And it's to the point where I'm like 9:45 in the morning, I'm at 10% battery after charging all night. So it's time to go. It's time to upgrade. So I go to the AT&T store. It says on the website it opens at 10 o'clock. I'm there at 9:45 with bells on, waiting, just want to get in. 10:15, nobody's there.
Oh.
Full parking lot, 10:20. Nobody's there. The line out the door looks like it's a Costco at 8:55 in the morning. People are getting antsy. And then about 10:25, a woman in your age bracket walks up to the front of the line, tries to open the door as if none of us in line had tried to open the door that's locked before she got there. She looks around and she goes, wow, it's a full parking lot. How are we not getting in? And I said, well, look around. Look at the line. How do you think these people got here? The incredulousness that came through my voice in that moment, it would have made you proud.
Yes, and they're called Karens. You can say it.
Yes. Okay. Well, present company, I didn't want to offend.
Right. Women in the age group of myself and my wife, Karen, are often called Karens for their ability to assume that that line is not there for them and that there's a separate line for them. I thought you were going to tell me that was who was working at the Apple store. But that doesn't sound right. The person working at the Apple store is a 21-and-a-half-year-old with a ponytail and like 7 tattoos.
Yes.
Did they ever show up?
They did not show up. By 10:25, I had a podcast appearance at 11 a.m., so I could not wait. I had a hard out at 10:25. I needed to bail, needed to get out of there. So we're going to try again tomorrow, and we'll report back on Blue Sky. Hopefully, we can get in and upgrade the phone by then.
Verizon, baby. Make the switch back. Make the switch. They all stink. They're all terrible. They're all amazing. Like, we can't live without them. And 30 years ago, they would have been science fiction, but they all stink.
Yes, and they're all terrible in their own ways.
Yes, they all each have their unique terrible. This thing is not good at being a phone. You know,
but if the Verizon employee shows up for work, it would be an upgrade over what I experienced today.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. There are little tiny Verizon shops. Like, your Apple store is like you go in and it's like you're going into paradise, right? It's like all stainless. It's like you're walking onto the Starship Enterprise. You're walking onto the bridge. Verizon stores are just like these like gnarly little places, and there's always one 22-year-old with a ponytail and 17 tattoos, but they know how to work a phone, so I can't talk too much trash on them, and they're usually hustling to get the job done. So that might be an advantage.
Yes. And, you know, one of the advantages that we have is we're coming off of a major news week last week. We have all kinds of stories emerging from mini camps across the country that are in full swing right now, that even though the calendar says we're approaching mid-June, the NFL machine just never stops, man.
No, especially last week it didn't stop. And I made myself unavailable for podcast after the A.J. Brown and Myles Garrett trades. Forgive me, but what was there to say about the Myles Garrett trade besides, oh my God, the Rams have Myles Garrett? And what was there to say about the A.J. Brown trade that you and I haven't been saying for 4 months, let alone anybody on an Eagles podcast or Patriots podcast? It had already been done to death.
Yeah, we all knew for 6 months that A.J. Brown was being traded. Yes. We all knew for 3.5 months that A.J. Brown was going to be traded to the New England Patriots. Right. The Myles Garrett trade did kind of fall out of the sky. And I know that the Browns reworked his contract back in February or March, and it kind of opened the door to this. And Andrew Berry publicly denied, as he always did, that they would trade Myles Garrett. Right. But then you see the Los Angeles Rams and Les Snead pull out the fuck them shirts era T-shirt again. And they went and they pulled off this trade. And like a rival executive told me, I don't know how Les does it, unquote, but either he or the coaching staff are the luckiest men on earth, unquote. And I think he's right there. I mean, you have an elite, the most dominant, disruptive force on a defense anywhere in the league, on a Super Bowl caliber defense. And I think that the Rams just kind of roll the ball out there this year and say, okay, come beat us.
That's pretty much it. You know, it's funny. I was just kibitzing with people on Blue Sky, et cetera. And it's like, well, just sort of taking it as granted, well, the Rams are the team to beat. Or it's the Rams and the Seahawks in the NFC. They're the teams to beat. But the Rams look better right now on paper. And somebody says, you know, don't crown them yet. You know, don't give them the award yet. You know, injuries could happen. And it's like, well, of course, if your argument is, well, injuries could happen, you know, a meteor could strike. If that's your argument, then you're saying the same thing we're saying. Obviously, you have to play the games. But the Rams right now, roll the balls out there, go out there, best front four in the NFL, Stafford, Puka, all these guys. Aaron Donald might come back. Best team in the league, period. But I'm going to say this with that and A.J. Brown. Like I said, you talk about it. It's kind of been done to death. I had some questions that I wanted to quiz you with.
I saw that.
Yeah. So there's a little bit more than the last couple days of news, minicamp news, some stuff left over from last week. But I wanted to get some fresher takes so that we aren't talking about like Myles Garrett and A.J. Brown. Makes sense to you?
Of course, and I saw the list, and I'm ready. I'm loaded, prepared. I'm ready to get into these.
Okay, well, the first question involves A.J. Brown.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I thought I'd set that one up better with the we're not going to talk about A.J. Brown anymore. Never mind. I'm doing bits here, but it's like June. I'm off my game.
Dude, I'm hearing myself like 5 times over every time I open my mouth. We're playing through pain here with this echo.
Right. I forgot you can barely hear what's going on. I'm trying to set up these very subtle little bits here. Okay.
Subtlety has gone out the window. You're getting your sledgehammer tonight, man.
Sledgehammer, here it comes. Well, A.J. Brown did not take a sledgehammer to the NovaCare complex when he visited before heading up I-95 to Foxborough. But he did stop by to say goodbye to whoever he's still speaking to, and he saw his picture on the wall, and he wrote on it, "The best to ever play here, always open." He marked that on the wall. So my question to you about that is, after that, how happy are you to see him go?
I'm not as happy to see A.J. Brown go as Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni probably are to see A.J. Brown go after the last year that they've lived through with A.J. Brown. And you look at Jordan Mailata, I think he summed it up really well when he said, quote, "Thank God it's over and done," unquote, last week after that trade went down. Seriously, I was shocked to hear him be so forthright and forthcoming about that. But as far as this goes, who's A.J. Brown kidding here? Because listen, he's leaving a franchise that has Hall of Famer Harold Carmichael in its honor roll, played a Super Bowl. Hall of Famer Terrell Owens in its honor roll, played in Philadelphia, played in a Super Bowl. Both Hall of Famers, both played in the Super Bowl. A.J. Brown played in 2, won 1, although it doesn't really strike me as Super Bowls are the motivation and the motivating factors for A.J. Brown. I'm not sure he cares about that very much. But what is he thinking? Signing the wall and putting that message, kind of rubbing it in the face of his former teammates on his way out the door. What is he thinking there?
It sounds like he wants T.O. to come like driving through the door on a motorcycle and run him over and cross it out. It's like you're baiting T.O. of all people with this. Like Carmichael will shrug at such a thing. You know, other guys might shrug at that. You're baiting the one guy who might go out there and have a beef with you. You're also like, that's the mindset you're leaving, and that's the mindset you have. Always open. I'm the best ever. You need to go into your new job with a little bit more, a little more humility, a little bit, a little more gracefulness than that. And I thought he was doing a good job on his way out the door, but he had to do that little parting shot. Very strange. By the way,
and about this a few times over the last week or so. I really love the A.J. Brown Patriots fit, by the way. I love the scheme fit with Josh McDaniels, who loves to move his number one alpha receiver to create mismatches on either perimeter. I love Drake May as a pocket passer, deep ball thrower. Great fit, fits like a glove with A.J. Brown and what he does well, especially the yards after the catch, something like 5.4 yards after the catch per reception last year. I love the scheme fit. But the issue is going to be, can they keep him bought in?
Right.
Because you look at the results in Philadelphia, the results don't get much better than 2 Super Bowls in 3 years.
Right.
The results don't get much better than, even though you have a number one A wide receiver in Devonta Smith on the other side, it was no secret that they were force-feeding the ball to A.J. Brown and force-feeding targets early to him in games last year. The fit doesn't get much better than what he's just leaving. They need to keep him in New England bought in, because the talent, I think, has never meshed better for A.J. Brown with a quarterback and a scheme, but the mentality needs to match that.
Yeah, he was mad in December of the Super Bowl year. He was mad in September of this season when things weren't going badly. Nothing was going badly yet. He was just mad in general. Now people are starting to talk a little more openly about some of the rumors that have been going around. I don't know how much stock to put in that, because that should be something that you can compartmentalize and put away after 2 years. If it's some sort of romantic imbroglio went wrong, that should be able to paper that over.
There should have been a financial apology somewhere along the way from somebody if that wound up being actually something that drove all of this acrimony and stress and friction behind the scenes.
It simply doesn't add up. It doesn't add up to years of this and all of this public stuff, et cetera, et cetera. If a guy is that angry all the time, it is going to take work to have him buy in. Now, new location, new voice. Vrabel might have a little bit more of a way of dealing with Brown in the short term. For the Patriots, it's about this year. I really think it's about this year. Get back to the Super Bowl this year. If you're thinking about 2027, 2028, you have to have a Brown management plan for his emotionality in place.
Right. And I think that it's the quarterback. I think it's the system. It's the fact that he walks into another 1-1A type of situation with Romeo Doubs on the other side. They have the pieces, and it's a loaded division. I don't think they take any sort of step back. I think they could take a step forward, but A.J. Brown has to stay bought in for it to work.
Right. And by the way, he said the best who ever play here. I don't think he was just referring to receivers. See over my shoulder? I don't know if it's visible, if people are watching. That's Reggie White over my shoulder. You don't want him haunting you.
No.
You don't want him haunting you from the great beyond. All right, next question here, or statement. Joe Schoen, remember him, thinks that Malik Neighbors will be ready for week 1. Now, my question to you, based on some of the injury news that we've all been hearing, and we know the Giants media pretty well, has Joe Schoen been allowed to leave his office for the past 5 months? Has he touched grass? Is he outside at all? Do you know?
I think the issue here is Joe Schoen's office and where it is and what the responsibilities are of this role. Because while he has the title of general manager, it sounds like he's exclusively handling the NFL draft and leading the scouting department.
Right.
So maybe the issue here is that Joe Schoen is so busy diving into 2027 class tape and writing up scouting reports and meeting with scouts that he hasn't spoken to Malik.
And signing OBJ. A totally, Malik's ready move there, right? I got Juju Smith there at OBJ, and I think Amani Toomer got a phone call.
Yeah, look, the thing is, that was a really devastating knee injury. That wasn't just an ACL that happened. So it's going to be a hard road back. And for Malik Neighbors' sake and for the Giants' sake, I hope he's ready to go week 1 because all of this optimism that seems to be emanating again from East Rutherford seems to be around Jackson Dart making a leap, Malik Neighbors being healthy, and all those things. But they've acted up until about a week ago like he's going to be ready, right? They didn't take a wide receiver at number 10, either one of those first-round picks. They didn't take a receiver early. They didn't sign a marquee wide receiver during free agency. They could have got Romeo Doubs, and it would have been a great upgrade, great pairing, opposite Neighbors, great trio alongside Darius Slayton. They didn't do that. They bring in OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. What are we doing here?
Well, that just LBJ and Juju Smith-Schuster and a third guy. And again, my brain just keeps going to old, was it Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker? I go back to these old Giants that they could bring back with OBJ. And that's Joe Schoen. And I think you're right. He's in his office in the basement behind the boiler, and he's doing whatever Harbaugh's letting him do right now. And maybe talking about week 1 should be, let's listen to the coaches and let's look on the field. I think we did talk about this 2 or 3 weeks ago. Did you see Ryan's video from the charity softball game of Malik Neighbors trying to play softball and dodgeball? Did you see that?
I didn't see the video.
Okay.
So Ryan for people who didn't see it, sum it up.
Okay, Ryan Dunleavy shot this video. He was there. Patricia Triano was there. A lot of people we know pretty darn well were there. And trying to play dodgeball, like Neighbors couldn't move his legs at all. So like, he's playing. He's not jumping around, dodging as one might do in dodgeball. The ball's rolling up to him, and he gets it, and he's like, and he's like not stepping into a throw. He said he was like sort of running the bases, but he was just like walking the bases. That was like somebody who had another recent procedure on his knee in May or the very end of April, but I think this was May. It sounds very dire for Malik Neighbors to be ready at the start of the season and to be so. And it sounds like somebody who's going to be rounding into shape as the season wears on. Every indication, except Shane, seems to be going in that direction.
It sounds ominous. It sounds like that he's not going to be ready. And again, I don't know what Odell Beckham Jr. is at this stage of his career. He's a warm body, right? He's somebody you could target maybe 3 times a game, maybe, and get something out of.
We don't know where his mind's at. We don't know where his conditioning is at. I'm sure he looks fast and looks great. But why him? If you're grabbing guys off the street, why do you grab these sort of automatic headline guy? That's like a flashing light. We're in trouble. Something didn't go as planned. We sent up the bat signal, and like old Batman showed up.
And for all of the goodwill that I think the Giants built up with the John Harbaugh hire by bringing in Dawn Aponte to run point of that organization and that front office, I think that at least for the 2026 season, if you weren't actively preparing for the contingency that Malik Neighbors wasn't going to be healthy, and I'm talking about signing one of the top free agents early on, or taking a wide receiver in the first or second round to pair with Malik Neighbors, whether it's a Mekhi Lemon,
They did take the Fields kid from Notre Dame, who I do not like at all.
Like third round, but very inconsistent hands, not a burner, probably more of a possession receiver than a true complement to Neighbors. I think you did yourself a real disservice for this season, just given the severity of the injury and how vital Malik Neighbors and that position is to that offense hitting the ground running.
Right. You going to be able to get up there during training camp at all?
Hoping to. I'm hoping to line up the training camp tour again this summer. Negotiations happening behind the scenes with a couple of teams. We'll see what happens.
I would love to get up there again, and that would be one of the stories to cover. You do want to see Harbaugh. You do want to see Dart. You do want to see Scatterbo, all these guys. But you're going up there to see Malik Neighbors and see what his status is.
Dude, let's try to both take the trip. We'll try to do the pod from camp. We'll do a live pod from outside the facility.
Absolutely. Drop me your contact person because I've lost all my contact people.
I will.
All right, let's do the next one. Excuse me. Brandon Ayuk. I'm just getting everybody ready. Okay. Brandon Ayuk said a lot last couple of weeks. Most recently, the 49ers were, quote, mad because they stupid, they dumb, they mad that they paid me $50 million in 8 months. I think he's trying to get the 49ers to cut him so he can sign with the Commanders, which he can do by showing up at the 49ers facility and saying, I'm here. And they're like, oh, crap, we have to start paying him again. So they would trade him or cut him. But he doesn't want to do that. He would rather say that they were mad and stupid for paying him online. So here's my question to you. If Brandon Ayuk offered to mow your lawn for $50, would you let him?
So about 4 years ago, when we first bought this house, we hired a lawn service to cut our lawn. And it was one of those like big, well-known landscaping companies around the area. And we're thinking, okay, this guy's a straight shooter. He told me he read my stuff. Good guy. So the third week of this service, there's this random like 40-year-old dude that this guy sends out to cut our grass with a push mower.
Oh, geez.
Something went wrong with the push mower in the backyard. And this guy's dropping F-bombs. He's like picking up his push mower and slamming it on the ground and kicking it. And I'm like, what is going on here? This guy's psychotic. My daughter is like 3 years old at the time, seeing this out her bedroom window. My wife's flipping out. Like, why is this crazy person in our yard? I'd probably hired that guy and bring him back to let Brandon Ayuk cut my lawn after he went out for a drive and never went back last year from the 49ers.
Couple of thoughts. You met that man's wife earlier today at the iPhone store. He walked up and we tried the door. Secondly, what you described sounds like the Brandon Ayuk experience mowing the lawn. He would start it, but then not finish it and cause a problem while not finishing. Not just ghosting and leaving, but ghosting and cursing and being horrible on the way out. I don't. Who was it? Tim Kawakami. I'm sorry.
Kawakami. Tim Kawakami.
Yes, a long time beat writer, reporter, columnist in San Francisco, and he describes Ayuk as like sort of having. I'm paraphrasing, like having social media syndrome. Or something like he's so now divorced from doing the thing he needs to do to get what he wants in the real world because he's gotten too used to getting likes and shares and retweets and stuff like that on X, Instagram, wherever else he's at. And that has reached like this sort of neurosis at this point where just show up and say, I am here, coach. You have to either put me on that field or trade me or cut me, but you owe me this much money now that I've showed up. Just do that, and this is over. But he can't. He won't because he wants to go out there and try to have a war of words with the organization. It's bizarre.
Well, that's what I don't understand. Is why not utilize your agent or back channels to make a formal trade request or ask to be released? So clearly, the 49ers have moved on. You don't sign Mike Evans and pay him that kind of money if you think Brandon Ayuk is a piece of the puzzle. You don't draft a wide receiver in the second round who I had scouts tell me has the chance to be an explosive stud as a rookie. You don't do those things with Ricky Pearsall already in the mix if you plan on playing Brandon Ayuk. So either have your agent call John Lynch and say, hey, John, trade us or release us, or do as you said. Show up and say, hey, I'm here. F you, pay me.
Yeah.
You're either going to pay me and play me, or you're going to move me. You can be disruptive all you want in public. I don't know that motivates them to placate you. But if you walk into the building and you're an asshole, well, then maybe you get moved.
Right. Now, I do have one sort of galaxy brain theory, and that's that he.
Oh, I love these, especially from you.
It's not that bizarre. He's like in the old Michael Thomas Saint situation. He's done with football. He got a huge payday, and if you and I got like tens of millions of dollars, you would not be seeing us on this podcast anymore, probably. We would do our own thing. You'd see me on a Star Trek podcast instead. But like he doesn't want to play anymore, but he doesn't want to say he doesn't want to play anymore. So he's like, I want to play for the Commanders because Jaden Daniels and I went to college together, and we're buddies, and I liked Adam Peters, which I'm sure he didn't like Adam Peters one way or the other. It was just one of the guys at a desk there. And so he's doing this whole thing, but so he can't get called on it and never have to like go and show up for a camp in Ashburn, Virginia or something like that. He's making a big show in public about, oh, they won't let me go. They won't let me go. It's like a kid who doesn't want to fight. He's holding me back. He's holding me back. He's doing these types of things because deep down he's done with football, which is fine. If you're done with football, retire. You might have to give a little money back. That is an issue. But this is not impressing anyone.
And there could be a second act. There could be a second life, especially you don't have to go to an ESPN or a CBS to have life after football in the media these days. You can watch a podcast like this. You can, you're Brandon Ayuk. You're an NFL star. You can build a brand outside of football. You don't need to tarnish it by doing this.
And that's the thing. You have the money to do whatever. You can start a landscaping service. A lot of ball players do. Jeremiah Trotter started a string of car washes. You know, that's something that ball players.
Brian Westbrook bought he has a racehorse stable.
You have that kind of money where you can start those things. You could do a podcast about Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever floats your boat. A lot of the guys get into fashion design, things like that. Just do those things if you don't want to play anymore, or if you can show up and go through the motions for a year. But all of these histrionics, they only impress internet people, and internet people are not the same as impressing the people that are going to matter in your life and are going to help you get ahead in the world.
Yep. No, I agree. And if I'm the 49ers, I would move on. I don't want that kind of distraction in the building. I think that they've done enough at wide receiver to rebuild that position because we all know outside of maybe quarterback, it's the most vital position in that particular scheme. And you get a guy like Mike Evans who can stretch the field a little bit, willing blocker. Pearsall seems to be ascending. You don't need that bad apple poisoning the bunch in Brandon Ayuk.
No, they were very clear because they got rid of Ayuk and they got rid of Jennings, who's a headache.
Yeah,
he's loony birds. And it's like, and you bring in Evans, as a professional of professionals. I got to talk to Stribling, the second round pick or first round pick, forgive me. And he is a super consummate professional for a young player. They're definitely saying we're bringing these guys in so that we have like the normal adults in here to get the job done. And they're saying they are done with these guys. The only reason why they haven't gotten rid of Ayuk's contract rights is because they can keep him on like some kind of suspension list right now. I don't understand all the things, but it's saving the money right now to hold on to his rights and keep him in a corner like that.
No, none of it makes sense. And the 49ers find a way to move on.
Absolutely. All right, next one. Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, this is an ongoing soap opera for children. Kyler Murray said this week that it's hard to learn the offense while he's splitting reps. He's not used to splitting reps. And it's getting hard for him to learn the offense. Meanwhile, J.J. McCarthy has been sort of pouting for a while. He's trying to like actually unpop the balloon a little bit from last week, but he's just saying, I'm just thinking about my next rep. And last week he was saying things like, he's on one side of the room, I'm on the other side of the room. Here's my question. You did so well with the lawn story. I ask you this as the father of an 8-year-old and a toddler. That experience, what advice can you give KOC right now?
Pit these two against each other.
Okay.
Don't do it. Don't make them both play softball. Don't make them both play mini golf at the same time. Don't make them both play shoots and ladders. Individual attention here, Kevin. Come on, man. Parenting 101. Look, here's the thing. I think you wrote about this in the column on Monday, and I really enjoyed it. And people should go read walk through from Monday. The Vikings, for some reason, keep trying to make J.J. McCarthy happen.
Yes.
They keep trying to make Fetch happen, and Fetch isn't happening with J.J. McCarthy. It just isn't. And I spoke to people around the league a few weeks ago, and there's a genuine belief by some executives in other buildings that Kyler Murray and trading for him is one of the moves that could move the needle around the league, because there's this thought that you put Kyler Murray into that quarterback cocoon with Kevin O'Connell, with those receivers, with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, that it finally unlocks that first round potential.
Right.
I know that potential's in there from Kyler Murray. I saw glimpses of it. I saw flashes of it. We know it isn't there for J.J. McCarthy. It's not there. And if you allow me to just stay on this soapbox for a second, I am so anti-faux, forced, fake quarterback competitions.
Okay.
I think you do yourself a total disservice, because you're trying to have both of these guys bought in and singing Kumbaya and, oh, I'm part of the team and I'm getting my first team reps and I'm getting his first team reps, and, our iron sharpens iron. Look, if you want to get Kyler Murray ready, then send him away for a weekend. Right? Like, these OTAs are voluntary. Say, hey, go play Call of Duty this weekend. We're going to work with JJ.
Right.
And then when Murray comes in the following week, getting all of the twitch and all of the gaming out of his system, give Kyler Murray all the first team reps and give him the exclusive, breakdowns with the coaches and the added time. You're helping nobody by staging a fake competition when you know that Kyler Murray is the ultimate result here, an eventual starter.
So you're saying, again, as the parent of an 8-year-old, you wouldn't limit Kyler's screen time?
I would encourage it in this case.
It's like Toy Story 5 is a new movie. Here's your new thing. JJ's got Buzz and Woody. You're just going to be... I agree with you with the fake, completely scripted. And guess what? Kyler Murray's going to win the starting job. What are we even doing here? And you and I know one thing about this. You do not have to make the backup quarterback available for interviews. You have to make the starter available for interviews, but not the backup. So every time you have a quarterback competition, you are basically saying, here you go, two guys who are clearly not getting along, who don't seem to be with the program in various degrees. Both of you go out there and pour some gasoline on whatever's going on, and then we'll go back and spend the next 2 weeks trying to reset it. It's just a terrible way to do business.
And unless it was Kevin O'Connell who was all in on J.J. McCarthy,
right,
there's no reason to do this. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah was fired in Mobile.
Right.
They didn't even let him fly back to Minnesota with the other scouts and executives in Mobile. Right? He's gone. If JJ was Kwesi's pick, there's no reason to protect the organization here.
No.
And if you think you can move ahead with JJ McCarthy, I know it's the veteran minimum that you got Kyler Murray for. There's no reason even to keep JJ in the mix if you're going to move on and take this flyer on Kyler Murray.
Agreed. And by the way, we know how this works. Even if JJ McCarthy was KOC's pick, he's now Kwesi's pick.
Correct.
The war with Eurasia, War with East Asia, 1984 stuff in the background. This was always Kwesi's. So that's gone. So whatever's going on here, that's out the window. There's no one to protect, as you said, by making this big routine with McCarthy.
Unless it's O'Connell's ego. Unless rather than passing the buck on to Kwesi, which we'll find out when they eventually trade J.J. McCarthy for a third-round pick, or they cut him in September, then we'll blame Kwesi and throw him under the bus. But otherwise, if you're Kevin O'Connell, maybe you're trying to salvage your own ego, but by saying, I didn't blow this. I have this reputation as this elite quarterback whisperer and developer. Yeah. I didn't mess this up this badly, so I need to put him out here and try to get him to do something. Try to get him to reach the potential that I saw.
I think that there's a lot of that going on in this particular case. All right, so now we're going to go to my favorite offseason team, the Green Bay Packers. Christian Watson recently signed a contract extension for somewhere between $31 million and $121 gazillion, depending on which set of numbers you believe. The Packers media will tell you, even if it was a gazillion dollars, he's worth it, etc. Now, Watson said this week that he's aiming for 1,100 yards and double-digit touchdowns this year. I don't think he's ever had over 650 yards in a season. He's aiming for 1,100 yards and double-digit touchdowns. I have two questions. Here's the first one. Why didn't he think of trying that before?
I have some answers.
Okay.
I put on the thinking cap for this one.
Okay.
Answer number one. Christian Watson was too busy trying to take Jordan Love's attention off of Tucker Kraft.
Okay, all right.
Tucker Kraft is the passing game there, right? I mean, you look at what they did against the Steelers a year ago. You look at how dangerous Tucker Kraft is after the catch. You look at how many first read throws Jordan Love shoves into Tucker Kraft's direction. Christian Watson needed to fight through that. He needed to cut through the noise. He needed to get his quarterback's attention.
The Kelsification of Tucker Kraft has gotten a little out of control. I respect that he's a very good ball player, but like, he is the key to everything. If he's the key to everything, then why are we having these conversations about the other guys? But I respect that opinion.
I don't know that he's the key to everything everywhere, but I think he's the key to everything in Green Bay. I mean, that passing game kind of fell off a cliff when he got hurt last year, right?
To a degree, I mean, they had injuries all over the place, but his going from him to Luke Musgrave was definitely a step down, and they definitely felt that. You had another portion of this theory?
I have another portion of this thing. He was too busy trying to get and stay healthy.
Yes.
He's played no more. He's never played more than 15 games in a single season. He's missed 20 games over his first 4 seasons, which is the equivalent of 1 regular season and a playoff run or 2. And Mike, look, I think Christian Watson is a top 12, 15 receiver or so in this league. And he might, I think he has those traits. I think he has that upside. He's just not healthy. He's balanced. He can stretch the field. The Packers are taking an outrageous risk making him wide receiver 1 or 1A with Matthew Golden and banking on Golden making a big leap.
I cannot. My brain exploded when I heard 10, 15. The year he played 15 games, he was healthy for 15 games. He caught 29 passes. 29 passes in 15 games for 620 yards. He's obviously a deep threat. But if you read my Monday article, I listed some of the people who had more yards that year, like Demario Douglas and Mike Gesicki. There's a degree to which the injuries are a factor, obviously, but like it's been 4 years and we're still talking about his traits and his potential.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, I'm talking traits and skills. I'm just talking traits and skills perspective. Right. Production obviously is in there, but I think of him as like a poor man's Mike Evans. Really? From what he does, just what he does. Skill set, after the catch, get separation, but he can't put it all together consistently because he can't consistently stay on the field.
You know what Mike Evans calls it 29 catches? He calls that October. I mean, by the way, I always sound like I'm critical of the Packers, but if it really was like $31 million guaranteed and then 1 year or whatever, it's a good deal. It's a good deal. It's just I don't. This wide receiver 1 everyone's telling me about. I've been watching them for 4 years. He never was, and the conversation shifts to Dobbs and Kraft when we start digging into it.
And that's where I think the Packers are taking a monumental risk here, because Matthew Golden might be a track star.
Right.
He might be a guy.
Right.
He might also be Keon Coleman. We just don't know. We haven't seen it yet consistently enough.
Right.
Christian Watson can't stay on the field.
Right.
You let Romeo Doubs, your leading receiver from a year ago, sign with the Patriots without much of an effort to bring him back.
Right.
You traded away Dontavian Wicks, who might or might not have been bought in. Right. But he was a veteran body familiar with the scheme.
Right.
You let him just leave like yesterday's news.
Right.
It just seems like you're hitching your wagon to 3 potentially great pass catchers, genuinely injury-prone pass catchers.
Right.
It just seems like a major gamble.
It absolutely does. And my other point for this, so again, 1,100 yards, double-digit touchdowns. He's looking double of what he's ever done before. While he's setting unrealistic life goals, do you have any unrealistic life goals that you would like to set?
Well, I do. And I
Okay.
thought about these on my walk yesterday. It's like you were like in my mind, I'm turning 40 next month. So
Oh
like I've
gosh.
become very like introspective and worried and stressed about this.
No.
So I'd like to live to be 100 in good health. Like I need to have nearly perfect health to make 100 worth it.
Okay.
So if I can't get to 100, give me 85 or 90, like perfect health, die in my sleep.
Okay.
Somewhat unrealistic.
Very
I'd like
unrealistic.
to grow between the hash marks into a $1 million annual revenue generator. I'd like to set the standard. I'd like to have multiple revenue streams. I'd like it to be a behemoth.
You make you turn in $1 million revenue. I'll just start working for you.
I'd hire you in a second and I'd pay you half.
Hire me.
I'd like to own a home on the beach in Malibu with the waves crashing in on the sand. And all of these things somehow feel as realistic and reasonable as what Christian Watson is setting out to do based on his health and track record.
Tremendous. That is tremendous. Because at each stage along the way, you reached way further beyond. Because when you're saying that hatch down the beach, it's like, you know what a good reach goal in life would be? To have a nice beach house in Ocean City or Strathmere or someplace like that. But you have to go straight to Malibu. Because I was thinking unrealistically, it'd be great to have 10,000 paid subscribers or something like that. You went to $1 million in revenue. So that's where you're at. So it's going to be.
I was channeling unrealistic. I was manifesting unrealistic.
You should manifest, and that's what Watson is doing. And I think that's what a lot of Packers fans are doing. Manifest your dreams, and then when you fall short, it'll be okay. You'll live to be.
And I actually think that the 1,100 yards is more realistic than the double-digit touchdowns.
I'd actually go the other way.
Do you?
Yeah, because it's like he's going to catch the long touchdowns, and you catch a couple of jump balls. So you get to 10, 11 touchdowns, but you're still having one of your seasons where it's like 3 catches a game, and if one of them's a bomb, it's a great game. And if it's like 3 catches for 16 yards because they're trying to get you involved, then you didn't do anything, and you mysteriously lost to the Browns again.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting there. Next one. Josh Sweat is mad at the Cardinals for being the Cardinals. Basically, he wants out. Doesn't sound like he wants money. He wants out. This is an actual football question, not a snark question. What jersey will Josh Sweat be wearing on opening day?
He will be wearing a Green Bay Packers uniform.
Okay, right.
Because as I reported last week, there have been conversations and there has been effort on the Packers' part to put together a trade package for Josh Sweat. Mm-hmm. And it just makes too much sense. You're bringing Josh Sweat to Green Bay, who played for defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon in Philadelphia and in Arizona. The Packers need some sort of insurance policy on Micah Parsons' recovery and rehab lasting past like October 1st or 2nd. Mm-hmm. And they need a running mate for him. Denai Dennis Sutton is nice, lots of upside. I like his explosiveness, but he was a 4th-round pick. Right. You're asking a lot of Lucas Van Ness in year 5 to look like a first-round pick when I don't know that he's ever had more than 3 sacks in a year. Right. So if you can get Josh Sweat, I think everybody wins.
Right. Van Ness is the guy and I want double-digit sacks and, 10 forced fumbles or whatever when he's never done it. That does make sense. And while I've been criticizing Packers, that would be the move to bring him in. And it's okay, you actually did solve one of your big problems, really 2 of them, because you get your Parsons replacement for 3 weeks and then your Parsons complement for 14 weeks after that, etc.
And beyond.
What are you trading for him?
I don't even know what it's going to take.
Right.
I mean, he wants a new deal.
Right.
He wants out.
Right.
The Cardinals are in rebuild mode. Mm-hmm. Toss him a fourth round pick, maybe a 5th-round pick, and just everybody wash their hands of each other, and everybody gets what they need.
That's what be interesting.
Who do you think he plays for?
The only guess is that he shows up week 1 for the Cardinals, and we're still talking about this as a trading deadline. But Packers seem like the most likely thing. If they can get him for mid-round pick, I think they'll probably do it. The contract might be the other side of that. Because remember, what they are doing right now, they had to shed a lot of salary so that they could get Watson. They took care of Reed. They're going to take care of Kraft, obviously, and they should take care of Kraft to some degree. I don't know if they can do all that and say, and we have Micah's salary is sitting there. Here's the other edge rusher that we imported. I don't know if they can pull all that in. And that's super aggressive for the Packers, who a couple of years ago, before Micah, were we're not going to make any kind of big splashy trades. We don't do that. It would be a very sudden change for them to do it.
Yeah, I think that it's something they look at their window and they realize that Jordan Love's contract goes up in a couple of years in terms of the salary and his position of the portion of the salary cap, even though we just saw the Bengals rework Joe Burrow's deal. These quarterback contracts are like mortgages. You reshuffle the money around and create cap space over and over again.
They have more to play with for Burrow because they've got a big, long deal with all kind of goofy stuff at the end. I haven't looked at Love's contract, so I'm kind of talking off the top of my head. I don't think there's all kind of wiggle. I think they would have to do a full extension to move money around because they signed him for a constricted, lower contract when they had the chance to right before he really, really, really broke bigger than he was.
Yeah, spoiler alert for Monday's column and 4Downs at betweenthehashmarks.com. It's going to be the 4 teams facing the most pressure this year. And the Packers were on that list because of the Micah Parsons trade.
Right.
You gave up 2 first-round picks. He was as advertised when he was healthy. He was disruptive in the biggest moments of big games. He basically won them that Thanksgiving game in Detroit.
Right.
Basically powered the comeback on the road in Arizona. He was the guy. He needed to get healthy. Mm-hmm. You traded 2 first-round picks. Right. So that trade needs to get you to a Super Bowl, bare minimum, if not winning it.
Yeah.
And Matt LaFleur is on the hot seat. I'm surprised they brought him back this year after how it ended last year.
Right.
You got to win. And I think that a trade like bringing in Josh Sweat is another chips in, keep the window open, and try to go after it this year in a similar way that you thought the A.J. Brown trade was a win this year move for the Patriots.
And that's kind of the way, as I'm in these like little debates that I get into with the Packers media, and it's, the reality of sports and life is 10-7, wild card lose. That is not cutting it. And no. As a media base saying, yes, this cuts it. Hooray, huzzah. This team's going to go out there and probably lose to the Lions again or whatever. That's not what the common fan thinks. That's not how the NFL thinks. That's not how people keep their jobs. That's not how to run an organization. If they do go out and get somebody like Sweat, doubling down on Parsons, there is a reality there. Like, yeah, we know that there's a level of pressure here that is higher than, maybe we're letting on when we're going out there cutting guys and restructuring contracts.
Yeah. I'm fascinated and a little bit scared here. You have one mystery question, which you're going to spring on.
Yes. So here's the mystery question.
Okay.
They had to send a new Offensive Player of the Year award trophy to Jackson Smith-Njigba because his name was misspelled on the trophy when they gave it to him. So little bit of he found it insulting. It is insulting to a degree. It's also the way our world works now where like nobody triple checks when they're etching something into a trophy, But here's my question for you. Without looking, can you spell Jackson Smith-Njigba?
Jackson, Smith like Smith,
yes.
Smith hyphen Njigba?
Yes. I think. I didn't look it up myself. Very good. I was listening for the Dart S. The Dart S in the Jackson. You stopped, but you caught because that's what you had to work on, right?
It was the J6. It was it the S or the no S? And right. I've caught myself a couple of times, having to back out the S, writing Jackson Smith-Njigba. But I've been writing a couple of Jackson Smith-Njigba adjacent stories for the site recently.
Okay.
So it was fresh in my mind.
Congratulations. You could work for the NFL. Now you could be the trophy person. So going to hit you right now. Normally you hit me with the conclusion and say, well, what's coming up on the 2 Deep Zone? And I generally have no idea. And I assure you I have no idea right now. Because I just got done 8 chapters for the FTN Almanac. 8 chapters. I did the entire NFC East, the entire NFC West.
Wow.
Right. And I just turned in some of the last edits to Aaron this morning. So I am washed. There will be content on the site, but I don't know what's coming up. But what is coming up on Between the Hash Marks?
Yes, we have a loaded schedule over the next couple of days. You were probably benching the mailbag this week because it's my daughter's last day of school, and I'm going to be celebrating that on Friday with her. Monday, 4 Downs, we have the 4 teams facing the most pressure going into this year. Next Tuesday, actually, our top 5 players in each division series continues with the NFC West. Okay. A very loaded NFC West. The mailbag returns next Friday. And then the following week, I'll be away on vacation with the family. So we're going to have a couple of guest columns, current players, former players,
phenomenal.
maybe a big name colleague of ours appearing over the next 3 weeks or so as I recharge the batteries, turn 40, and get ready for the season.
That's phenomenal. That sounds really cool. It's a good foresight. And now I realize why it's so easy for you to spell Jackson Smith and Jigba, because if you're writing the top 5 players in the NFC West, you had to be ready for that. You had to be able to spell that. You had to be able to spell Puka Nakua. You had to be able to spell cannibalism because you were writing about Puka Nakua.
Yes.
So you know how to spell Josh Sweat, which is easy, but that sounds phenomenal. Special guest.
And it should be a lot of fun. Yeah. Special guest columns. And I might have to spring something on you when we get off the air here, a content idea that we might be working on if you're not a handle of Scotch deep between now and the weekend.
I think I could probably squeeze a little something in, although I'm going to make a big fuss about how much of a hassle it is. Very passive-aggressive.
But expect nothing less from you. He's Mike Tanier. Check him out at the Two Deep Zone on Ghost. Subscribe to the Two Deep Zone. Follow him on Blue Sky at Mike Tanier. You can subscribe to Between the Hashmarks at BetweenTheHashmarks.com. Check us out on YouTube at Matt Lombardo 975. I'm also on Blue Sky at Matt Lombardo. Mike, this has been a ton of fun. But just letting everybody know, a little bit of hiatus here. Mike's going to go take a nap after writing the 8 chapters. I'm going to go say hi to Mickey Mouse next week.
Yes.
And we'll be back sometime around July 22nd.
Yes, that sounds about right. And by then, camps will be opening up. Brandon Ayuk might have been shot into space. He might be talking to Rocky the Rock Monster. Who knows? But we'll be ready. We will be recharged. You will have seen Mickey. You will have turned 40. You will have experienced middle age for a few days.
Not looking forward to it. That's why we need to get beers. You need to talk me off a couple of ledges here.
It sucks. Look at me.
Well, I'm building it up in my brain that it sucks. So we'll grab beers, and we'll talk to everybody in July. Enjoy the rest of your month, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in.